During the replays, I saw he was on the ice, and my mind immediately went to, I know what's coming for him.
Shortly after the Edmonton Oilers were eliminated from the NHL playoffs, racist messages began pouring in against Ethan Bear. Bear was on the ice for the tying goal in Game 4. His girlfriend sharing this post, calling out the hate. She says the comments included calling Indigenous players alcoholics and that they shouldn't even play the game. Hockey player Davina McLeod, who has been taunted by slurs herself, says it's a reminder discrimination is still very real in 2021.
Indigenous peoples face the same amount of racial discrimination as people in the States, but for some reason we have this notion of ourselves that we're great and we've never been as bad as them. So we're able to look down on them, and that's not the case at all.
And it's like, now that all this stuff's kind of been brought up, like it's still kind of hard for me to talk about it.
In this interview, following the murder of George Floyd last summer, Bear, one of only a handful of Indigenous NHL players, acknowledged he still faces prejudice.
You learn to deal with it, and now that people are talking about it, being more educated on it, it's a good start.
Totally uncalled for, totally unacceptable. It's disgusting.
Oiler brass quick to denounce those who attacked Bear while touting the player's character.
Ethan's an unbelievable young man. He's a tremendous role model for all young athletes, and especially the Indigenous community. He's involved in, gives time to the community.
The Edmonton Oilers need to call out these fans. These aren't true fans of the Edmonton Oilers.
Several Indigenous leaders called for the team to take a tougher stance in condemning the comments. They say the pandemic has further exposed the roots of systemic racism in sports and urge leagues to invite them to the table.
What is needed is more of a concerted plan with the Indigenous peoples in both countries to really address the issue of racism towards Indigenous people.
Those comments, but they got buried so quick by people supporting him.
The support for Bear online proving massive, even spawning a hashtag. McLeod hopes to eventually spare the next generation of players taunts that were directed towards her and Ethan Bear.
They're not going into the dressing room as a 13-year-old being like, I know I don't belong and I know why I don't belong. And that motivation on my end to keep this conversation going and to do the best I can.
Scott Frolick, City News, Edmonton.
This afternoon, the Edmonton Oilers putting out a video of Ethan Bear on their social media as he responds to the racist comments he's received.
I'm here to stand up to this behavior, to these comments. I'm proud of where I come from. I'm proud to be from Ochapo's First Nation. And I'm not just doing this for myself. I'm doing this for all people of color. I'm doing this for the next generation, to help make change, to love one another, to support one another, to be kind to each other. There's no place for racism in our communities, in sports, or in our workplace. So I call on all of us to help make change and to end racism. We all deserve to be treated fairly. And at the end of the day, I think we'll get there.